Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of River Kids. I have my friend Pete with me again this week. He really loved coming to River Kids last week, so he asked if it would be okay if he came back again this week. I said, of course, Pete, we love having you with us. So he is excited to see you, and he wants to hear about what is going to be happening in our story today. Last week, we heard about Paul, and he was about to go on a missionary journey to travel around the world to tell people about Jesus. So this week, we're going to hear the next part of that story, and Paul has a couple of decisions to make. He needs to decide where he's going to go and who is going to go with him. So let's watch as we see what happens in the story this week.
When Paul and Barnabas had been missionaries for a while, Paul spoke to Barnabas, "Let's go back and visit the believers in every town where we have preached. Let's see how they're doing." I bet he missed some of the really awesome, cool people that he met. That's why he wanted to go back. I mean, we'll never know, but I think that's probably the reason why. Anyway, Barnabas agreed. He wanted to take John Mark, but Paul did not want to take him because John Mark had left them on one of their other trips. So Barnabas took John Mark with him to Cyprus. Paul chose Silas, and they traveled through Syria to Cilicia. In Lystra, Paul met Timothy, who was the son of a Greek father and a believing Jewish mother. People spoke well of Timothy, and Paul took him and traveled through towns, encouraging believers. The number of believers increased daily. The Holy Spirit guided Paul and the men as they traveled. Instead of going to Asia or Mysia, Paul had a vision of a Macedonian man begging him to come and help him. They immediately left, understanding that God was calling them to preach the gospel to Macedonia. They traveled to several towns in Macedonia, delivering the message of Jesus.
Okay, so we see that Paul took a new friend with him, Silas, and he went around to visit all of the people that he had told about Jesus. So let's take a look at some other papers that we have here today. Right here, we have our lesson for the younger kids, and we have a verse here that says, "Go and tell the good news about Jesus." And that is exactly what Paul and Silas were doing. So the question here says, God helps people tell about Jesus. Draw an X beside the pictures of people telling about Jesus. Let's see, this guy is washing a car. This guy is serving some food. This person, oh, they're giving flowers to their mom because you know what special day it is today? Pete, do you know? Pete's gonna whisper to me. Yeah, you're right. Pete says it's Mother's Day, so he says be sure to give your mom a big hug and squeeze for Mother's Day. Moms love extra hugs on Mother's Day. And then this other picture here shows someone who looks like they might be reading a Bible story to someone. Maybe they are telling people about Jesus. Then down here, it says Paul traveled with his friends and they told people about Jesus. It says draw a picture of you and your friends telling or learning about Jesus? Pete's thinking about that. He's thinking about friends that he has that he could draw a picture of. Then for the older kids, we have another verse. This one says, "But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in all Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." That means that Paul and people like him who were missionaries would go all around the world to tell people about Jesus. So this says, Paul and Barnabas prayed and listened for God to direct them where to go and who to tell about God. Missionaries today do the same thing. God guides them to know where to go and what to say. So what you can do is unscramble the words in the word bank here to help you remember to pray for missionaries each day of the week. Ooh, and they gave you a clue that the answers will start or end with the same letter as the first letter of that day of the week. And this is talking about different places that missionaries go. Oh, here we have some mixed up words. And then a way for you to think, how can the Holy Spirit help you tell someone this week about Jesus? Now, it's a little more challenging because we don't see a lot of people that aren't in our families these days. But see if you can think creatively about how you could tell someone about Jesus this week who might not already know about him. And it's very important for you to remember that today is your day to be extra nice to your mom. Pete says, yes, definitely do that. So ways you can be extra nice to your mom are to follow directions, maybe do a special job for her, and also give her some extra hugs and snuggles. Pete, that's his favorite. He loves that. All right, so have a great week, everyone, and we will see you next week for another edition of River Kids. Thanks for joining us. Bye.